Welcome to the Jon and Joss Show. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Jocelyn.
And today what we're going to be talking about is a very important topic. Should you get married young or should you wait and get married when you're a little older, right? We have paused debates on this so we could save it for the pod and bring it straight to y'all, real rap raw off the top of the dome, so we can give y'all our thoughts on it, right? So I feel like it's important to go ladies first. So Jocelyn, would you share your perspective on this topic? We are going to disagree. We got to argue different sides, right? So let's see how this goes. Go ahead.
Me winking at them. I think you should absolutely marry young if you can. I know a lot of people say like, oh, wait until you find out who you are, until you're established in your career, until you're, the delay, while I get the wisdom of it, life is not promised, and every step of the way there will always be development. So I don't believe in just delaying until you're better, because you're getting better every day. Mm-hmm. So like, yes, date young. Like, so let's add on to this once you share, but like, what is the dating age? That's what I want to ask.
The dating age.
But go ahead.
So
or how early,
Let me also context, right? We got married very young.
We were not very young. We were 25. Old.
Bro, it's 20. It's 25 young or old, bro, in your perspective. That's pretty young. 25 is pretty young. Not only that, let's add to it. We started dating officially, what were we, 20? Like
They're
19, 20?
On my side.
We'll see. But we started dating at like 19 or 20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not 20. Let's call it 20. 20 years old, bro. 20. We locked in, right? So here's
reasonable. I think that's appropriate.
Here's what I'll say. And this is coming from someone who got married young. I have zero regrets about marrying my wife, right? I'm actually going to share a testimony about that in a minute. But so I'm actually going to kick it to you this way. Do you feel like you are the same person now that you were when you were 25 when we got married?
I'm the same person I was when I was 5. Same OG. What you mean? Like, I'm the same. I mean, yes, some things have changed, but the essence of me, man, I'm the same. Ask anybody who knows me.
You're okay. Okay. I am kind of talking to a unicorn. Do you feel as though
I think you're the same too?
Okay. Do you?
You should call your parents on speaker and ask them, do they think you the same as when you were little?
As when I was little? Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Maybe we'll do that.
Okay.
But quickly, do you think? I'm gonna specifically ask this for a reason. Do you think the women in your circle, your friends, your female friends that you've known for some years, do you think they are the same now that they were, those who got married young, that they were when they got married? The pause tells everything. No, are you serious right now?
In essence, yeah. I mean, yes, they've changed. There's 18 years.
I feel like there's some disingenuous behavior going on.
No, I think that in essence, yes, like the people be
in
people.
Essence, meaning what? In essence, you talking about like the fabric of who they are?
Yeah, like their heart, like yes, they've gotten older.
So let me say this.
But character-wise, I think that even like people, like we had college friends, like the people who we knew and vibe with back in, for the most part, people still the same.
No. So here's how I feel. Again, I have no regrets about marrying my wife young, but the goal of this episode, let me also say that, is for anyone who's considering marriage and you're in your, late teens or early 20s. I think this will be a really important episode for you to listen to, because it's it's less about who's right and wrong, and it's more about giving you information you know what you're walking into. Okay, again, in an episode we did recently about when my wife got laid off, go back and watch that one. I talked about some trials that I faced, along our journey, and how I wished that some OGs, some older guys would have told me what they had gone through, right? And now that I'm a little older, I've been talking to some of my married homeboys, some of my guys about like, yo, what would you wish you knew when you got married at 22, 24, 25, whatever? And all of us without fail are like, bro, I just wish somebody would have told me blah, 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 Mm-hmm. So that's the point of this episode, is to kind of give you some perspective, as you said, just give you something to go on. So my thought is this: before we got married, when we graduated from college, I don't know if I told the story on another episode or not, but I'm gonna tell it now. Before we went to college, after we went to college, and I was headed to grad school, and she was headed to the workforce, I firmly in my heart believed I needed to go through a season of my life without any support, without any backing, but as a man, I needed to go through something solo dolo, right? Now you received that, if memory serves me correct, like you said, you received that as if I was basically like leaving you, right? We were from Detroit, right? So I was going to Houston for grad school, and she was applying for jobs or whatever. And in my heart, I was like, I just don't think we need to be in the same, I would say, I think I need to go through life alone for a minute, because I knew I had not been through any adversity. I knew that I was talented, gifted, had all this charisma. God has blessed me with gifts, right? And with that, sometimes you can kind of have a false you can kind of have a false view of life. Everything ain't gonna be easy. And I knew enough to know when I graduated from college, like, yo, I was on scholarship in college. I ain't had to get no job. You know what I mean? Like, I had homies who's out here hustling. Like, people like, no, I'm at this university because I'm here. God didn't bless me with a gift to sing, and some people value that, and they gave me money to go to school. That's not a real thing. I don't have two parents. Like, I could call my pops when I was in college, be like, Dad, man, me and some of the friends are going out, man. Can you send me like $50? He'd be like, man, you taking all my money, man. Go ahead. You know, she ain't had that. A lot of my homies ain't had that. You know what I mean? So I knew I have not been through anything. So how can I give you a husband that you're worthy of if I have not been through adversity, right? And if you watch the last episode that we just dropped, I talk about the first time I went through that adversity and how it knocked me on the mat, and I ain't barely know what to do. And by then we was married with a kid and a half, you know, you know?
No, we didn't have the half kid yet.
You were pregnant with her?
No.
With Jada?
No, it happened before Jada was even born.
Yeah, but I was
pregnant.
still, but I'm saying
Okay,
the season
lasted
lasted long as all get out. It was a long season, bro.
Okay, fair.
So the point is, so my perspective at the time was like, yo, I need to be alone for a season as a man in order to give you the type of man you deserve in marriage, right? To which Jocelyn's response was like, no. Like,
well, you didn't. Well, look, now this is new information. You didn't say you need to be alone, because that is a breakup. You were saying that you didn't know if we should be in the same city during that season.
yeah.
That's not you need to be alone.
Well, no, I wasn't talking. No. See how I be about to get in trouble with the podcast. No. However you want to word it, you word it how you want. What I'm saying
we
is,
were considering long distance in that early space, but what he was describing, I'm like, that's dumb. You can figure out how to be a man without refusing to be together. So like, I heard what you were saying, but I also felt like, well, that's not the only way to figure that out. And I really did have this thought of, I don't think you want to miss out that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that
Right.
we want to have that distance and then the potential of you spending years to figure it out. Because even like we were in Houston for 3 years and then we moved to New York for 3 more years. So he didn't get the big jump off for, at that time, like 6 years. 6 years in 2 different states.
but that
Homegirl was going to be somewhere else potentially. Like, I didn't want to
Yeah.
risk what we had
But
because
that
you're trying to
wasn't-
figure it out. I wanted to work with you with it.
But also, so other perspective to it too. I think the other thing is that your parents got married super. How old were your parents when they got married?
Not telling you.
Okay, well,
21.
21. Your brother got married really young, like around
21.
the same, right?
Yeah. So I also felt like an old maid because I was supposed to get married at 21.
Because she was 23 and there wasn't a kid.
24.
Where's the ring?
24,
Where's the child?
and then didn't get married till 25.
Crazy. In my life plan, I wasn't supposed to meet this woman until I was like 29, bro. Like I was supposed to be in the streets, have my decade of revelry like everyone else. Like that's what I was supposed to do. Get it out the system, if you will. And then, go ahead and find my lady, lock in and do the
But this
thing.
is a good point because people sometimes navigate relationship with 2 different backgrounds and you really think like, oh, what's wrong with me maybe? You know what I'm saying? Like my cultivation was marriage and family and like that's always been the plan. So even when I met you, that's the lens I'm looking through.
So let me...
Versus his lens was like later. You know what I'm saying? Like...
But let me tell you, it wasn't about later. And let's stick with our 2 journeys, right? You grew up in a world where the context of what you were given as a child was people building their lives together.
Now that's
like
true.
that's the context that you got.
That's true.
I got now we're both the youngest in our families, but I was very much a oops baby. Like my peoples was done having kids.
They
then
still love you,
I popped
though.
up. You gotta love me, but excuse me, but
You know,
they were done.
Babies, there's a chance for them.
Hey, oops, babies. Hey, we here. Oops, we in the game, bro. Stop playing with me. So with that said, I grew up in a world where there was a world already established. Like you grew up seeing your parents build together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, we moved from this house to that house. Then we made it to the suburbs. Like we did it. I grew up, we was in the suburbs because they had already established it, right? And the stories I heard was about my father becoming a man, right?
Now, this is a good layer, but also age gap wise, your parents were already older when you came along.
That's what I mean.
So you
That's what I'm
experienced
saying.
them in season differently than
exactly.
what I've seen too.
So I get to the point, and I'm really talking men and women with this one, but I'm talking to the men for y'all to hear what I went through, and for the women, hopefully you can hear this and understand what your man might be going through, right? If his perspective, if y'all are dating, he's like, man, I don't know yet. It might not be that he doesn't love you or that you're not the one. In our case, had nothing to do with that. I knew I was going to marry this woman literally when I was 20 years old. I was like, that's it. I'm locked in.
He going to say something dumb like, I don't think we should be in the same city.
But here's why. So I'm listening to my father. I'm listening to my uncle. I'm listening to both my uncles, really. I'm listening to the stories these men told
of what
about their journey, about what they became before they got. My pops, man, this dude from the age of like 11, 12 was like, man, I shoveled coal. I had to mop these white people's floors. I had a paper route. Then when I turned 16, I was playing full-time. I was playing football. I was going to school, and I worked over here at the newspaper. Then it was so much hustle, and I'm like, yo, this dude was a man by the time he met my bro. The way the story goes, I'm gonna put this in a movie one day. Don't steal my IP. Anybody watching this? The way the story goes, my father was teaching, coming out of college, and he was teaching. He was like a teacher's assistant, I guess, at the same school my grandmother was at. Right. My mother walks in, and he's like, "Yo, Miss Coates, yo, who is this? Who is that?" She's like, "That's my daughter." He like, "Yo, introduce me." And my grandma, being who she is, was like, "Introduce yourself." He was like, "Say less. I'm coming to the crib." So he goes to their house, knocks on their door, meets my mother, and he's like, "How you doing? I'm Charles. You know, whatever." And I think they tell the story like she was like, "Hi," and then went like to her bedroom, like, "Boy," you know what I mean? He goes in the house to her bedroom, opens the door like, "I'm about to take you on a date. Put your clothes on." You know what I'm saying? I just want to tell that story because my pops is dope, and my mom, like, they're dope people. But I say that to say, before that meeting, the stories my father told about his journey was like, yeah, man, I really wanted to go to this university, and I was $400 short, and I just couldn't make it, man, and it broke my heart. But then I went to Wayne State, and I played football, and then as soon as I started playing football, my mother had gotten sick. She was in the hospital, so I picked up 2 jobs, and this man hustled. This man had to do what it took. A man does what he has to do, right? And I knew at the age of 21, I was like, I ain't done none of that junk. You know, so I'm listening to his stories. I'm listening to my uncle talk about being in the service and coming out of the service and working for this company and hustling. My other uncle starting businesses, working for this major Fortune 500 and saying, no, I could do this myself, bro. So then hustling and taking his lumps, taking his beating, but then getting off the mat as a man. And I knew I ain't been through none of that. And the stories I was told was that a man learns how to go through that adversity before he takes on a wife. So what I was trying to do, low key, was incredibly romantic. What I was trying to do was like prepare myself to give you the type of husband that you would deserve. So in my brain, it's like, if I go to grad school, is only 2 years, and I know I'm gonna go through something down there. I ain't from Texas. I don't know nobody in Texas. Something gonna happen. I'm gonna have to go through adversity. I'm gonna see myself overcome it, and then I will know that I have what it takes, right? So it was very much a personal thing of like, do I actually have whatever I need to be husband, to be provider, to be father? Like, I don't know if I have that because I ain't been through nothing, and I knew that, right? So off hearing that, what is your perspective at this point? You still like, so?
No. Well, what I'm thinking of is the value of adversity. Like, we respect adversity. We respect overcoming. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody, my analogies are always crazy, but this is just what my brain does. If somebody comes in, you know, let's say we live in a village. We're in a village and somebody comes.
How do we get to a village? How, Joss?
Let me tell tell you.
Go ahead.
We're
in a village. Okay.
And somebody comes with a bundle of sticks in their hand. And it's like, oh, yay, thank you for the sticks, right? But then same scenario, and you see somebody sweating, honking up the hill with a thing of sticks. It's like, no, he went and got us some sticks. You know what I'm saying? Like, same sticks, same outcome, but somehow we respect the struggle more. So is there a way, and especially for the young people now, like, I mean, we're still young-ish, but there's a generation of people.
Young-ish. We're young.
But there's a generation of people not raised by the boomers. There's a generation of people not raised by. So the people, there are kids.
Can you stop?
I know.
We're not young.
We are. No, don't give up.
We were raised by baby boomers.
Listen,
bro.
This is not the point.
Even if we're young in age, we're not young up here.
This doesn't matter.
I'm a grandpa.
You. What I'm saying.
All right, go ahead.
There's a generation of young, even like in school, you know, like with our education, like we're working with high schoolers. These children have never had to hunk up the hill with the sticks. You know what I'm saying? So like, how can we produce the same value of struggle or the same value for adversity when these kids don't have the opportunity to struggle that way?
So in my perspective was that the only way for it to be produced is for life to happen. Right. Which is but it's also going to take me into a pivot. Right. So to get back to the question specifically, should you get married young or should you wait?
I done forgot the question. I still think you should get married young.
No. I actually, we started by me arguing the opposite side of it. But here's what I think. Now that I've been through a ton of things in my life now, life is going to happen either way. Yeah. So whether you, as a man, whether you have gone through that adversity and whether you have gone through it and you can get through it and whatever, a new adversity is coming that you've never been through. It's coming anyway. And a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and finds favor in the sight of the Lord, right? So why delay the favor that would be upon your life just for the sake of, what if I find something better? What if I whatever, what have you, right? So let's touch on that real quick. The notion of, for men and women, and this is really important, the notion of finding something better, finding a better thing, finding a better man, a better woman, or what have you, where you're making it too complicated. Do not overcomplicate it. Do you want to do life with this person you are with? Simple as that. Do you like them? Do you want to be with them? And really take it back to those old sappy basic questions. When you get a big win, do you want to call her first? Do you want to call him first? When you suffer a major L, do you want her to rub your back or do you want another woman to rub your back? You know what I'm saying?
But see, I think integrity of society has gotten so out of whack. Some people want several people rubbing their back. And that's
okay.
I think guide wise, there's so many layers that people don't have the clarity to be able to commit to the idea.
So let me give y'all some clarity. And this is a theory and this is something that can be debated, but I firmly believe that we are built to only have the capacity to truly lock in with one person. Right. As far as when I say lock in, I mean actually give your time, your energy, your effort, your heart to one person. Now, you can have a bunch of concubines. You can have a bunch of wives and concubines, right? As we see in scripture, you know what I'm saying? You can have that all day. But let's go back to, I believe it was Solomon, right? Who God was like, you can have anything you want, whatever you want. I got you what you want. Solomon's like, Lord, give me wisdom. And God like, man, you could have asked for riches. You could have asked for anything in the world. You want wisdom? Not only am I going to give you wisdom, I'm giving you all the riches. I'm giving you all of that. One thing, stay away from them women over there. Right. And it's really interesting. What we then see is Solomon writes Songs of Solomon, which is this love story, this beautiful love story to the love of his life. Right. This whatever, Bible scholars, fact check me, but I'm pretty sure this man wrote books of the Bible that on one hand were like on one hand was like this beautiful love story. On the other hand was like, man, woe is me. Life sucks. But you did the one thing God told your butt not to do. Right. I believe the way God made us is that we only have the capacity to give ourselves to one person.
Can I push there?
Sure.
More than us having the capacity, I think just mathematically to be able to focus in and dedicate more of ourselves to one person juxtaposed to trying to create that transparency and availability to several people.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, because some people are like, well, I had a love once, but I married someone else. You know, like there are lots of layers to this.
There are layers to it, but I still think I really think we overcomplicate it, right? So what I will say is this: I don't care if you are 20, I don't care if you 28, 35, 42, 61. If you find a person that, and maybe it's just simple for me, I don't say that with arrogance. I see people that I feel like overcomplicate this entire process. You know what I mean?
It's common. We overcomplicate everything.
That's facts, especially me. But I really think it's simple. I really think as soon as you find that person and you're like, yo, I want to do life with them, then do life with them.
Especially if y'all are in agreement. You know what I'm saying? So this is more a note to like the people who are on the bridge perhaps, but like you do not have to sacrifice what you currently have for the potential of seeing what else happens. You can. Nobody's going to make you love someone or do life with them, but also entertain the idea that you can do life with someone and grow with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was going to get to, is that so much of the journey is building together. Either way, you're going to build something together. And frankly, the older you get, I think the harder it is. You know what I mean? Because now you set in your ways, you know what I mean? And you start pushing.
You ain't going to do the stuff you did in your
youth. You push them 30s, then mid 30s, them early 40s, then mid 40s. You like, hey, man.
And it's not without hope, because there are singles who are listening. Like it's not, but there are very real layers that you accumulate with life. Like when you were young, you're a lot more spontaneous. You're a lot more, fly and fancy free. So then dating at that time is easier to just kind of navigate the ebbs and flows. Case in point. Now you're going to see if you could edit this out, but I'm going to tell a story.
Tell a story.
When we were in college, everybody was broke. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get a little money, sometimes, whatever. So we would go to Applebee's or Chili's and they'd have like...
Oh, I ain't got no problem with you finna say. Say it. Talk about it.
Was it like 2 for $20 or like 2 for... It was cheap, you know? But we had no money anyway. So if we went out and we were with people and I knew he didn't have money, but I had a 20 or something like that, I would reach under the table and like nudge his knee and pass him that 20 so that he could pay. Ain't nobody tell me to do that, but also like I didn't want people to see me paying or for him to feel some kind of way about being paid for.
And you know why I'm not tripping? Because all y'all done been there. All y'all women, y'all done slid.
Some people don't. Some people ain't sliding nothing. They not going out with the men.
If you have been in a healthy marriage for some time, babe, y'all done slid that money.
What I'm telling you is not all women. That's beneath people. People think that is illegal.
Y'all saw how I just tried to make myself feel better, and she was like, "No." Y'all saw.
No, but let me tell you.
I was like, y'all all did it. She's like, no, it's just you. But
that was 18, 19 years old.
Facts. I was in college. We were in college.
And then also, like, honestly, the people who were in, my mentors or like my parents or like people who cared about me, I don't think that they would consent to that type of behavior. But I ain't asked for permission. I like this boy and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna let you look like you're paying for it. Now, fast forward. I'm a teenager, By the time we were 20, we figured out, all our systems. But at 38, I'm not sliding no 20 under the table.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like there are certain things that you just will not do as an adult. If you're an adult, you working full time, you got your own house, you got your own career, you got all your other stuff. And then the guy is like, let's just watch a movie and cuddle. We not doing that. Take me out and valet my car. You know what I'm saying? Like the standards change. And especially in that beginning part where you're getting to know each other, sometimes it takes, not even sometimes, it takes a lot of patience and like discernment and vulnerability to get to know each other to see if you want to continue. So the layers get deeper as you get older.
Well, and here's what you got to be willing to do. If you're going to marry young, know that adversity is coming for both of you.
But it's coming in life anyway. So know that.
And it's coming in life anyway. Yeah. But also know that you're going to go through changes. You're going to go through personal things that it shouldn't change the fabric or the nature of who you are. That probably won't happen. Yeah. But you're going to go through things and you're going to say, man, I wish I knew this when. I wish I had gone through that when. And I don't think there's any way to avoid that. But here's the hook. You're going to go through that at any stage. Yeah. So I don't care if you 20 and you like, man, I love this girl, man. I just feel like I should do it. And then you're going to have your OGs. You're going to have whoever saying, well, how you know? Why you so young? You don't even know what you want yet. You don't even know yourself yet. you know when you know. You know that, no, I want to spend my life with this girl. You know what I mean? You know that. But if you wait until 40 you're still going to go through changes. You're good because life is ever evolving. Things are always changing. We're going to go through stuff that we can't prepare for yet. You know what I mean? We are actually, I know I was joking. We are young. So it's like, we're going to go through things that we can't yet prepare for. You know what I mean? And it might rock us. It might shift us. It might shake us up, and we're going to have to push through it, but we get to push through it together. We get to go through it together. Right. And another misnomer is that this whole journey is supposed to just be easy. You know what I mean? Marriage should be easy. Marriage should be simple. But it's not. But it's not. That the thing I really want to clarify. What I said before I even met my wife was like, yo, what I am not coming home to is a headache. That's what I'm not gonna do. The world got enough going on, right? The world, especially as a black man, the stuff we face, bro. And that's gonna be our next episode. Is, are there safe spaces for black men? We're gonna get to that in a second. But especially as a black man, it's like there's so much I go through. I refuse to come home to drama, a headache. Man, she getting on my nerves. I'm not finna deal with that. Life is tough. Life is hard as all get out. But your marriage should, in a perfect world, and I'm not saying we don't go through things. I'm not trying to be, holier than now. Our marriage is great. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is perspective. What I'm saying is my marriage really that hard, or is life that difficult? And because life is tough, or both. There are layers. There are layers, but is it more that life is whooping both of our butts, and now that life is cooking us, that is bleeding itself into our relationship, and we're trying to figure out how to navigate around that, right? How to keep us healthy, keep us in a good spot while we then navigate what's going on. You know what I mean? Compartmentalize it a little bit, right? So I say all that to say that the point is, regardless to when you choose to lock in with whomever you lock in with, the times are coming. The challenges are absolutely coming. You know what I mean? But I just want to say it's to me, it's less about, this marriage isn't working, you know what I mean? As opposed to, man, life is tough. And that is if both people in that marriage have integrity, if both people are locked in. Because if you just so happen to be locked in with a POS, then that's a whole different thing.
But I think maybe this is an episode that we can go into in the future, because while life and marriage, while marriage doesn't have to be hard, it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so, like, what do you do when it is, Also, communication wise, and even just accessing your own feelings. Like, if you're not used to processing how you're feeling and making decisions based off of that, there is a reality where you can live a life full of unintended behaviors that produce tension in a marriage.
Sure.
And that stuff is common. Like, the divorce rate ain't 50% for nothing.
Facts.
People are making it and not. And so that's something very real that maybe it would serve us to discuss.
It would. So let's touch that real quick though.
Yeah.
The question is, are you really being honest and really sharing your vulnerable self with your partner? And are both of you being honest before you choose to come together in union?
Okay. Follow-up question. How do you handle when you know that your partner is not? Like, you are partnered with somebody who they don't access their feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, in hard times, it's easy to retreat, to shut down, to close in. If you are with somebody who just doesn't want to talk about it, we don't talk enough in society about how to work with people or communicate with people so that you end up being in a situation where, like, you're giving it all you got and you just don't know how to weather the system because you don't have the experience or skills to navigate the ebbs and flows of life.
So two things. To answer the first part of it, I guess the first question that I asked was like, are you being honest? I asked that from the perspective of before you even lock in with marriage, right? Like, before you even lock in with it.
I see what you're saying.
Like, before you even get locked in, have you truly shared your actual truth, your actual self, or have you shared a version thereof according to a fantasy you've created? Right. And I think what happens
I don't think people know.
Well, let's get to how you find out. Actually, I'm gonna use a quote from you. Jocelyn is good for kind of pissing people off when folks be coming to her for like advice and stuff, or even when I do, I'm like, babe, I need to hear your perspective on this. She'd be like, and you know that you know. And I'd be like, dog, if I knew.
I say that when you're torn between two decisions.
Lies.
You absolutely know which one you want. Like, you are not in a situation where you're like, I don't know what to do. Like, you absolutely know what to do. You just need to actually admit to yourself. Like, there is one option that just resonates. And then, like, maybe the script of like what you should do, makes you not commit to that thing. But I'm talking about in terms of two decisions, you always know. You always know.
If you knew, we ain't gonna get it. That's another debate.
They
But
know.
anyway, I don't think you always know. I think you if we'll get to that another time. The point I'm making is that so coming to the question you just asked.
You have such a good memory.
Yeah, coming to what you just said about how do you know whether or not you're sharing that truth? I actually am taking this from you to say I believe you know if you are not. Right? I believe you know if you have built an idea of what a marriage should be, of what companionship should be. I built this idea of what it should look like, and if this doesn't look like that, then maybe it's not for me. But you know if you have shared and given this person your full self. Put it like this. I had, which I won't go into right now, but when we were just dating, I had little things that I would hide about myself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's actually, some of this is actually going to come out in a miniseries that hopefully will be shot this summer and come out during the fall, so y'all can see it. But like some of this is going to come out.
And I'm like, let me see what's going on.
Yeah, and she's like, she forced
true.
vulnerability. Like, so the things that I was trying to hide about myself, she kind of forced my hand.
Let's talk about
You know what I mean?
What
Like,
is
why are you hiding that? Like, what's the deal, right?
Why did you get uncomfortable?
I'll use a very lightweight, basic one. This is a very simple thing. Men, our toes be jacked up, right? This is very simple. I'm using a very simple example. I'm not going deep about other stuff we've been through, but like toes be cooked, right?
I would see them.
I would always have on socks, shoes, whatever, right? Because I was low key embarrassed. Like, man, this is crazy.
But
and it was
also,
during the time.
It was obvious that he was wearing socks. You know what I'm saying? It was obvious that he was hiding them. But I'm like,
bro, I was on some like, yo, I will wear socks at the swimming pool. Like, I won't wear them. I won't wear them in the water because that's nuts. Like, this has to stop somewhere. But I just won't swim. I'll wear socks with flip flops and I'll just chill on the side and look cool. But I'm not gonna get in that water because these feet are crazy.
That, like,
but here's the thing: at the time, it was still taboo for a real man, a masculine man, to get a pedicure. So it was like, well, it just is what it is, bro. Like, these just gonna be like this, and this is nuts. So she would like make me very uncomfortable, call me out and be like, take your socks off. I'd be like, no, bro, you doing too much, bro. Like, you gotta chill, bro.
Like, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
That I haven't seen your feet.
Like,
I want to see them.
We've been dating
that was before we even was dating.
But we was
Very
like,
early,
we was kicking it. We was feeling each other.
In the trajectory, I needed to see them.
Like, we've been feeling each other for about 7 months. Let me see them feet.
So I am going to share a story I wouldn't have shared, but it makes so much sense in this moment. That was an insecurity that he had. It was very loud to me that, that was the thing. And so I was going to like force it, like show me your feet. Like, I feel I can handle, I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm not going to leave you. Like, I already love you so much, like, so you don't have to hide anything from me. I don't care if you got 3 toes. Show me them 3, right? So in that mindset, and like, again, I wasn't going to tell nobody this. Like, a lot of the decisions that I made, I knew they were not popular. Therefore, I wasn't consulting with anyone. So I had a foot tub in my dorm because I was, doing my feet. And so I told him that I would do his. Now at 18, 19 years old, this is preposterous to be doing some man's feet. That I don't think we were dating yet. I think we was just talking.
Yeah.
We also were around a whole bunch of girls my age who wasn't doing no man's feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one I knew was scrubbing no dude's feet in their dorm room. I was.
Facts.
I was.
Yeah.
I pried in there like, you got to show me your feet. He was very uncomfortable, but he did end up showing them to me. And then eventually, like, I was like, I'm going to give you a pedicure. And I had like some scrub in my dorm. And also, again, we chilling in the dorm all the time because we ain't going out on lavish days. So we soaked his feet, scrubbed him, clipped his toenails, did all the things very, very early when we were young. And that was just between us. You know what I'm saying? People have done worse for less, but like, that was an act of kindness that I was showing him, and it was received because of the vulnerability that was shared in that moment. But
that was great.
Yeah, you ain't doing that for everybody.
I was like, yo, when's session 2? This is off. This what y'all do? Like, y'all do this like every week? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I said that, and again, that's a very lightweight example.
Sure.
We didn't go into the deeper things, but
to this date, I haven't met a woman who at that time would have done that.
Sure. But I say that to say, let's give some deeper examples. These don't necessarily equate to our situation.
Yeah.
But let's look at like attraction, sexual fluidity, right? Like, if you're someone who, is same sex attracted, but you feel like you're gonna honor, scripture, or that's the conversation. But either way, and you lock in, with some of the opposite sex, have you told them your journey? Have you shared what you've actually been through? Like when I'm talking about like deeper things, stuff like
those
that.
Vulnerability. And you could do it early. You don't have to wait until y'all are
now. And I get it. To do that, you have to establish a high level of trust, a high level of belief in whomever you're dating. But when I say things like marry young or old, or what are you to do, my whole perspective on it is, I don't care when you get married. I don't care. Once you find the person that you can do that with, once you find a person that you can be that vulnerable with, to say, hey man, I'm a woman and blah blah blah, but I have had experiences with women, and man, I want to marry you, need to know that. Or vice versa, if you're a man and that's been your thing, right? Or if you have like serious stuff going on, if you're on the spectrum, if you if whatever your isms are, whatever, and so when I say you're being honest, are you sharing that?
Are you sharing those vulnerabilities?
Right? Or are you going into a thing where it's like, no, that's just for me and only me?
Now this taps into my pool theory. Every time I try to do it mess up, because I don't be saying it right. And John be like, you can't say that about people. So stay tuned for the pool theory. But what I can say is, when you are joining in with someone and like you're sharing those vulnerabilities, there's so many people out here that can handle that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are the type of person who, like, going to the gender fluidity part, like, you shouldn't hide that from someone who is completely against it. But also there are people who, they be like, me too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of thing that you can vibe with. Even like with the financial thing where, I'm sliding him money under the table. Like, there are men who are like, I'm a man, get that out of here. You have to share these vulnerabilities where you guys know what it is, so you don't have to like hide that from your partner. And
the ugly truth is that and so here, let me give you a way, because I can imagine people saying, okay, well, how do I know I could share that with somebody? Right?
That's true.
What we did,
and that is scary.
What we did, and what I really recommend, is hypothetical conversations, boy. Hypothetical situations. That stuff,
that's good.
Will show you the truth about someone's perspective.
How they think.
How they
Talk
think,
about
what
the
they feel like. So just bring up some random stuff. What would you say if I had been through blah blah blah? What would you say?
Well, you know what our favorites were? It wasn't about us. It was about everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So like John used to say, he was saying like, what would you do if we're at a dinner party at somebody's house and like there's a couple that's hosting it, and then the guy just gets up and he and for the record, fly across the table, like what would you do?
I don't think I came up with that one. I think a homie came up with that.
No, he didn't come up with
either way.
That's beside. But we would talk about these things, and so I'm like, I would leave, or I would go pick her up, or I would do, what would you do? And like, we found ourselves just talking about these exaggerated hypotheticals where like we were able to see each other's psyche and also character. You know what I'm saying? So if you're with somebody and like all of their hypotheticals are very selfish, but you already knew that they were selfish, note taken. If you're with someone who is sensitive, like I cry in a minute. I used to cry easier back then, but I done got a little callous in some ways. But he knew he was with a sensitive person. Like that came out in life. So like you can see that in those hypothetical conversations.
And the more you do that, believe people when they tell you who they are.
Facts.
Right? So if someone is like, everything isn't always a joke, right? So you could, like I had a student ask me the other day, he said, hey, does your wife serve you? Like, she serve you all your dinner, right? Like, anytime y'all eat, she serve you, right? And I was like, if she cooks, she does. And when I cook, I serve her. And he was like, huh. I was like, bro, what you what you mean? And he was like, you serve your wife? I was like, yes, this is a partnership. So when I I'm good for preparing breakfast, you know what I'm saying, especially on the weekends when we're actually home together. So I serve my wife, you know what I mean? He's okay, so what if y'all are at like a barbecue? You know what I'm saying? Like, you serve her first or she serve you? And I was like, it kind of depends. I was like, now that we got kids, we serve them.
Kids.
Right, we got 142 kids. So 3 of them, 142. So I'm like, we get the kids together. And I was like, for the most part, I want to make sure that my wife is good. So I'm going to make sure she gets hers, and I'll go get mine. It's all good.
Now, that's changed over time. I think previously there was a sense of pride in that servitude. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to serve you. I wanted people to see me serve you. I want you to feel that. Like, I had value in my womanhood about that. And as the years went on, it's like, I can't maintain this.
Well, you could have maintained it, but
while doing the other things that were practical.
Things shifted too, though, right? As we talked about on our last episode, click that one, the layoff. Some things shifted in our situation that I think for your low key, like self pride, worth, image, whatever, like stuff had to shift a little bit, right? But also, having kids changes things, right? So what I'm seeing is, okay, and we're very much partners. I'm a very active father. I'm the fun dad. Like they hanging off.
He's so fun.
They hanging off of my every limb at every given moment. But at the same time, when your kids are born and you see your wife breastfeeding, you see her not getting rest, you see her not sleeping, how dare we go to an event? I'm like, hey babe, go get me no, you sit down.
But people do it. People do it.
Crazy. You sit down and what you want, I got you, because you're in our partnership. You have more of a load that you're carrying right now in this given moment, right? So I say all that to say, getting back to the hypothetical thing, before you share your vulnerabilities with someone, you do want to learn their character, and these things take time, right? So be willing to take the time to get to know someone, right? These things take time, man. So be willing for that.
And go deep. You know what I'm saying?
Get
Surface
deep in there.
Level stuff is cool. But like you gotta take it deeper.
You gotta take it in. The older you get, you know, the less time we have, you know what I'm saying? For we ain't got 5 years. Okay, we got let's get to it. What you've been through, what I've been through, let's see if we, you know, I get that. But I say all that to say, if you feel comfortable enough to share the truth of who you are, because you do know who that is. You know the truth of, you know what you've been through, you know how you think, you know your experiences, you know how you feel, you know what you want out of life, right? You have to give that to the person. You have to give that to this person who you think you want to be with, right? And if they can handle that, if they're here for that, right? Then you know I might have some. And then all the basic stuff. Do you have fun together? Is it easier than it is hard?
Some people just ain't fun by themselves, so that may not be a meter.
Do you do the things you want to do together? If you're not fun at all, are both of y'all ogres together? Do y'all enjoy that? You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. That's that's fine. But it's like, you know, once you share those vulnerabilities and you lock in with that person, I don't care if you're young, I don't care what your age is. If you have that, lock it in. If you have that person, do life with that person.
I think something is not as common to do, but observe and pay attention to people, and like don't just leave it at observation. You know what I'm saying? Like if you notice that your partner is doing something consistently, you can ask head on about it. You know what I'm saying? Or figure out a way to get to that observation. But like, you don't need to be passive about things that stand out, because that the depth behind them gives you understanding, but it also can give you the opportunity to choose if you're going to support that or break it down like I chose to do.
And let me say this too. It's a really important point to make, because I'm hearing the voices of some of my homeboys right now. Men, when life happens and when you experience the changes that you're going to go through, you have to let your wife go on that journey with you.
Because you're going anyway.
You can't, and I can only speak to this part from a man's perspective. I don't know if you want to share some from a woman's, but fellas, when you go through the things we go through, you gotta bring her with you, man. Like, and what that means is you gotta communicate the hard stuff. You gotta fellas, you gotta open your mouth and you gotta say, baby, I'm struggling. And you gotta say, baby, I'm not happy. You know what I mean? I'm like, one thing I used to say when people would ask, you know, how you doing? I would just get honest with it. I'm like, yo, I love my life. I love my wife. I love my kids, man. We have a good time. I hate my career. Right now. Devastated. You know, like during the actors and writers strike and all of that. And then coming out of the strike, it's still very much striking. So, you know what I mean? Like, we're in a famine. Our industry is in a famine right now for the actor, you know? So it's like, I would just be honest about it. But if I just held that in, and if I never shared that with her, and I don't have my life partner to you know, journey with me as I go through it, a year or 2 years later, you're going to wake up and be like, man, something ain't right. I just need out of this, man. This marriage thing ain't working. You know what I mean?
Well, and you said the man has to share it, but also the woman can go too. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he retreats, or if he retreats, like, you don't have to just let him go. Like, some people say, oh, they changed. That was the reason why we broke up, or that's the reason why tension exists. But like, we're all changing daily. We're supposed to. Without preparing for those changes, without normalizing change in life and marriage, you are going to potentially blame it on each other and cause that allow that to be a cause of distance.
Yeah, man. So with that, there's so much more I want to say, but we got to wrap this episode. Maybe this needs a part 2.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll watch it and we'll see. Either way, what we would leave you with is this: share the truth of who you are, the vulnerability of who you actually are. And if you're mature enough, and that's the whole thing, this whole thing of marry young or old comes down to maturity. If you're mature enough at a young age to have done that, which I think we were, even unbeknownst to us, I don't know that we knew that, but I think we had a lot kind of figured out without knowing we had it figured. We just kind of lucked up, I think. But if you're mature enough to share those real vulnerabilities, and if you're mature enough to know that we're going to build this thing together, then go for it. But if you're not at that place yet where you're ready to share the truth of who you are, the actual true vulnerability of if you still out here like, I need a woman who got wavy hair with the okay. If that's what you're out here on, I'm not coming against that. I'm just saying there are deeper depths to go to and deeper layers to hit. Yeah. So a lot of it comes down to your personal dating, we need a whole thing. A lot of it comes down to your personal maturity, where you're at. And if you're young, because you are going to learn more about yourself as you get older, but as you learn more about yourselves, you have to learn and go together on that journey. You have to do that.
Yes. Really quickly though.
Okay.
The question of age and dating. What do you think is the appropriate age to start dating?
12.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say like teenager. And do you think it's the same for boys and girls?
I don't care, bro. When was my first girlfriend? Kindergarten, bro? Like, I don't, like you date when you date,
so my 6-year-old, she already knows she getting married. You know what I'm saying? So she's like she asked Dad, did you know Mom when you were little or something like that? And he's like, well, no, I didn't. I met her later. And he was like, I just knew that she was going to be beautiful and that she would love me, right? Real cute. And she was like, yeah, my husband going to be the same. I mean, not beautiful, but he going to be handsome. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yes, she's able to say that at 6.
Yeah. Let's throw this in there with we're going to have an episode on child rearing, and it's going to be called Whoop Them Kids. But just, that one's coming. Or not. Whoop them kids or not. We'll see. So anyway, all right. Hopefully we've given you some. We got to wrap this episode. Hopefully we've given you some minutes. I know. We're gonna need a part 2. But yeah, man, if you're mature enough, if you're sharing your vulnerable self, then I think you're ready. If you have shared your both of you can look in each other's eyes and say, I have shared top to bottom, this is me. If I got some medical conditions, some isms, some issues, I'm gonna be silly if you stank a little bit. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Hey, sometimes I be stanking a little bit.
Some people don't be stanking to their partner. Like, honest to God, that people like each other.
Sure, but I'm just saying, but share that.
One more thing. No. It's
Hurry
important.
Up.
Share it with your partner, but I think bigger than that, acknowledging it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like who you are. Like some people change in content, and we've seen it. You know what I'm saying? Now, myself, I just be me all the time, and maybe that's to my detriment. But there are people who in one friend group they're this, in one friend group with their family they're this, and so those different identities, they know who they are, but they also know why they code switch and switch it up. But for you to admit who you are, that way you can present to a partner, and even if you do that, you can also let them in on like, I'm doing that, instead of making them engage with one version of you while starving all the others.
Yeah, don't give your representatives.
Oh, yes, you got to get raw with you.
Give the fullness of you. Yeah,
right?
I
think that's good.
And if you've done that work yourself, and then you've given it to your person, you're ready. I don't care if you're 19, 59.
There we
at that
go.
point.
There
right.
we
All right.
go.
We got to wrap this up. Love y'all. Tap in, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. Help us out. Love y'all. We got to get to the next one. All right. Love y'all. Peace.